I frequently have clients that make the same really important mistake, and they do it early on in a project. And the client could be the landowner, it could be an architect we're working with, it could be a civil engineer we're working with, it could be a real estate developer that we're working with. It doesn't matter. All these clients will frequently make this mistake when they're trying to find a land surveyor. And this is the mistake they make. They tell the surveyor what they need instead of what they're trying to do. And those are two different things. So let me give you an example. I'm going to use this example throughout the video. So a client will come to a surveyor and say, I need an elevation certificate. Okay, they're trying to tell the surveyor there what they think they need. Okay, they're not trying to tell the surveyor what their ultimate goal is, what they're trying to accomplish. What they should do is they should go to the land surveyor and say, I'm trying to build an addition to my office building, and the city is telling me I need an elevation certificate. Because those are two different things. In the first scenario, you give me very little information. You limit my ability to help you as a land surveyor. In the second situation, I have a lot more information, and then I can help you. I can find out what kind of elevation certificate do you need. Is it pre-construction or post-construction? Who's requiring it? Different cities and counties have different requirements. I can find out, hey, maybe the city thinks you need an elevation certificate, but you really don't. What you really need is a LOMA or a LOMAR, or hey, you're not even in the flood zone. I don't know why they're asking you. The more information you give me as a land surveyor about what you're trying to accomplish, what your bigger picture goal is, the easier it is for me to help you save time, help you save money, help you find the best way to accomplish what you're trying to do. You know, how can I help you as a surveyor? I've got all kinds of tools in my tool belt that I can whip out to help you. I put a lot of time into acquiring those tools. I work with land attorneys and appraisers and civil engineers and architects. They've got all kinds of tools. I have this huge tool belt that I can use to help you get your goals accomplished. But all you're doing is telling me I need a screwdriver. Right? Well, yeah, I got a screwdriver. Maybe you don't need a screwdriver. Maybe you need a hammer, or maybe you need a crowbar, right? So what I want to do in this video is I want to teach you as a client how to work with your surveyor to get the right bundle of services, right? Don't tell your surveyor what you need. Tell him what you're trying to accomplish. Tell him your goal. Okay, so I gave you that example with the elevation certificate. That's one example. So why is it so important that you do this? Why is it so important to tell your surveyor what your goal is, not exactly the work product that you think you need? I'm going to give you 3 reasons why that's important. Number 1, in many cases, your land surveyor, if he's a good land surveyor, has a better understanding of what you need than you do. Okay, so I may look at somebody at the city planning counter may tell you need an elevation certificate. I might look at the flood zone map for 3 minutes and realize you're not in a zone that you don't need one. And I've had that happen before. It's happened to me in Stockton. Okay, so like that was a situation where if I was a bad surveyor, I could have done an elevation certificate for that client, not asked any questions. I'd have spent $2,000, and he wouldn't have been any closer to his goal because he wasn't in a flood zone. So I told him, you're not in a flood zone. I got on the phone. We talked to the city. They said, yeah, Landon's right. You're not in a flood zone. You don't need an elevation certificate. Poof, saved the guy $2,000. Right? Okay, so in a lot of cases, your surveyor knows he or she has a better idea of what you need than you do. That's why you're hiring an expert, right? Let me do my job. Take advantage of my experience, okay? Secondly, if you tell a surveyor what you need and not what you're trying to do, not your bigger goal, you could potentially spend money on a land surveyor's services that you don't need to spend. You're going to waste time and money. And I see examples of that all the time. I've got another video that talks about a $1,200 lot survey that was done in Sonora. Didn't solve the client's problem. There are all kinds of crummy land surveyors out there that will spend your money when you don't need to spend it because they're not asking the right questions. Okay? How do you figure out if you've got a crummy surveyor? You don't tell them exactly what you need. You tell them what you're trying to accomplish, and then you let that land surveyor tell you what he thinks he needs to do for you, right? That or she, what she needs to do. That's how you make that, part of how you make that determination. Third reason why you should tell your surveyor your goal and not what you need is because there could be alternative approaches that the surveyor knows that are going to be a better fit for you and for your project. Remember that tool belt? I got all kinds of tools in there. Let me decide what tool is going to work best. And I'm not saying you should just blindly trust your surveyor. Make him explain it to you. There's nothing wrong with that. I take a lot of time explaining things to my clients. You know, my eye doctor, I love my eye doctor. One of the favorite things I love about my eye doctor is when I go in there and get my eye exam, they've got a little 3D model of an eye that they can take apart. And they always sit down and explain to me, because I got bad eyes, obviously, and they take the eye apart and they explain to me what they're doing and what they're checking. That's awesome. I love that my eye doctor does that, right? I'm a little geeky, I know, but there's nothing wrong with a land surveyor explaining to you why you might want to consider some other approaches, but you got to give him or her the opportunity to do that. Okay, so one of the things we work really hard at here at Redefined Horizons is helping our clients identify and eliminate or mitigate risk in real estate, right? Real estate's a risky business, and that's part of what we do. If you just call me up, you know, if you're just calling 10 surveyors in the yellow pages and telling them all you need an elevation certificate, or telling them all that you need a lot line adjustment, or telling them all that all you want's a topo, you're not giving them an opportunity to really help you figure out ways that you can accomplish your goal by spending less time and less money. Okay? You're really robbing some of the value that the surveyor can bring to you. So remember, a good land surveyor isn't going to just start work. He's not just going to give you a proposal. He's going to ask you, or she is going to ask you, a bunch of questions about what you're trying to do. And I have another video that talks about at least five questions a land surveyor needs to ask before he starts work, right? And really it should be before he even gives you a written proposal. He should be asking you questions about your project, about your goals for the project. Those are all different things, right? About the stakeholders that are involved, about the politics, about the financing. He should be asking you all those questions so he can really help you meet your goals on the project, or she can help you do that. So don't tell your land surveyor what you need. Tell them what you're trying to accomplish. Tell them your goal, and work with your land surveyor to figure out a bundle of surveying services that are going to best meet your needs as a client.